We stopped by the repair shop, owned by prolific rights repair advocate and guy who says whatever the fuck he wants, Louis Rossmann.
Yeah, if you're talking a Corsair or a Zeus, like, yeah, fuck them. I mean, I don't have sympathy for them either. People were actually smuggling them out in their underwear.
Okay.
At which point I started washing my hands every time I open these
Yeah.
things. You know, like cry me a fucking river. Right. I completely understand that perspective. A fan sent in Moonshine.
Moonshine.
Yeah, that they made. You too, Chris? Goddamn. Motherfucker.
Which also meant that while Louis and I stood in front of hot air stations spewing our own hot air, I got to receive a lesson on how to use them.
The way I would do it is I don't change the temperature with the profile as I go, I change the temperature with the distance. So you have the top temperature, which is this, the bottom temperature, which is the bottom air nozzle, and then bottom IR.
But not all lessons are taught with the same technicals.
First question, so this is a board heater, right?
I think this is a cheap piece of shit version of that.
Okay,
And I honestly have no idea why he even has this here.
This is Louis Rossmann at Rossmann Repair Group in Austin, Texas, a repair and data recovery shop for electronics. But Louis is probably best known for his work in right to repair and consumer rights. Louis had about 25 minutes of free time after our video shoot about tariffs, so we followed him around the shop for highlights and to talk about repair and the right to it. Enjoy this quick and completely unplanned rapid tour of Louis's shop in Austin.
This is Rossmann Repair Group.
Hello. Have you seen my particle counter?
Yes, I saw the video.
I'm actually, this is the one thing that I'm excited about I haven't been excited about doing a video in a while. So, I'm gonna put this.
Hey, I have an analog discovery too.
I'm gonna put this on here and then I can walk around. So it counts particles. I have to go to the Texas State Legislature tomorrow morning to see this, to Anthony Capriglione about this right to repair bill. I wanted to walk in with this and just tell people it's a bullshit detector.
They're gonna
You see how many people?
they're gonna put you in cuffs.
Every single person there has an assault rifle on them, so I'm just gonna walk around with this and see what happens. Yeah, so it measures particles.
Tell them you're a wizard. Oh no!
Cut that out of the video.
That has to be cut.
It's Texas.
That can't stay in.
Before that, this video is brought to you by the Montech Hyperflow series of liquid coolers. The Montech Hyperflow aims to compete with other affordable liquid coolers by fighting on price to performance. In our testing, cooler performance was comparable to others in its class. The ARGB Hyperflow has an illuminated pump block with RGB LED fans that have quality rubber bumpers for vibration damping. The cooler has a 6-year warranty and supports all modern Intel and AMD sockets, and you can learn more at the link in the description below.
This is where people walk in for stuff. This is Kevin. He talks to people that I don't want to talk to, or I don't have the patience to talk to. He's great. He's the manager.
What's the size difference compared to the New York store that I was in?
The first one on 186 First Avenue, that was about 600 square feet.
Jesus.
This is, I think, like 2,000. The store that you were in was about 2,200.
It was Midtown, right?
Yeah, it's mainly, I used to have 12 people in 600 square feet, and now I have 6 people in 2,000 square feet, so it's a minor difference.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Shipping, as you can see, the particle count is actually quite high right now.
What is it?
20,000, so I'm gonna have to do some cleaning.
What is it in the clean room box back there?
Oh, zero.
Zero.
Yeah,
okay.
when I clean during the day, I get this down to 200, but after you open a bunch of boxes and stuff, and the filter's off. This is where Chris does data recovery. Particles per cubic centimeter, I think.
Okay.
I don't know. It's just a number. I just try to
More lower. Bigger number, worse.
More lower, more better.
Right.
So this is where Chris does data recovery. I think he took his PC3K with him for the training that he's doing. He has a portable one.
Are you able to walk me through any? So what is this?
This is for replacing BGA chips on motherboards. So if you wanted to replace a CPU or a GPU, which we don't often do because the only ones you can get are usually ones that somebody is claiming are new, that they took off of a donor board. And the reason the donor board is being sold is usually because it's dead. Okay, so somebody will take a chip off of a board that is dead, most likely because of a dead CPU or GPU, and then they sell it as new.
The beep. The beep's gonna drive people crazy.
I know, that's why I have it on.
Okay, all right. As long as we've addressed it. Now we've, okay. All right, I guess I won't ask the other question.
Chris got this when he moved to Texas.
Yeah, I saw the intersection of Fuck Around Street and Find Out
this is
Boulevard.
Dan recovers iPhones that are broken. Dan, this is Steve from Gamers Nexus.
Hi.
This is your opportunity to become famous.
Yeah, we met 3 years ago.
What is this pile of boards for?
Those are donor boards.
Donor boards, okay. Do you know what, do you guys know what parts are bad on them?
There's a lot of hoping and praying that the component you're taking off the donor to fix your working board is not a bad, is the thing that killed the donor board. That's a thing.
Yeah,
Do you?
Unfortunately.
Is there basically a? Do you buy them on eBay? Is there like a supplier for this?
They were
or-
just random people on AliExpress.
Oh,
I used
okay.
to have one person that was going dumpster diving for all of them. So these are boards that I imagine came out of customers' devices or people that recycled it because you could see they have heat sinks. What we
Right.
used to get and we can't get anymore were those cut-up pieces. Do you have any cut-up boards here where there'd be like a
We
wing
have
or a
this in the
thigh?
old store.
I'll show them to you over there. So the reason that they were broken up around 2016, 2017 is because people were actually smuggling them out in their underwear.
Okay.
At which point I started washing my hands every time I open these
Yeah.
things. Yeah, so there was this article in the information where they were digging tunnels underneath the factory to smuggle out stuff that was being recycled.
That was happening with GPUs also. They're getting smuggled into Hong Kong normally. Then they put them on a boat and get them into Shenzhen. So.
Yeah, so this is stuff that they will actually take the components and they grind it into dust rather than just let people like us get the
Yeah,
donors.
right. It's unfortunate because someone could use them, you know. But anyway,
This is where we do hard drive data recovery. This is Zohan. He's the best in the world at it.
we were talking
Zohan's the
earlier.
best. Yeah. He also
Yeah.
beats Steve at soccer on a regular basis.
What? So this we were talking about it a little bit earlier. But what's your setup back here?
Oh, this is our $2 million clean room that you must not fucking.
Right.
It's a $3,000 piece of shit you can get
Oh,
on
is
eBay for
the
2K.
particle counter going to come back on?
Yeah.
This is the demo.
You actually have to wait a minute for this.
This
thing
was
to turn
it
on.
was a cool video when you did this one.
Yeah. Let's see. Wait, don't put it. I want to see it go to nothing.
So walk me through. We haven't covered why you need this yet.
Well, I mean, the smaller drives get, and you have a static size of the amount of dust particles in a room. But when you go from a hard drive being like 2 megabytes to being 20 terabytes, the amount of space that a dust is no longer like 5 bytes. Dust is a gigabyte or a
Right.
terabyte at this point. So you need to have a clean environment to work in. Clean environment, not clean room.
No, I
So
know.
this
yeah.
thing measures. This is a stupidly expensive instrument that goes down to 0.02 microns. I originally had this other sensor, but this thing that he built, but it almost always registers very low because it measures large particles.
What's the screen?
That thing's actually not
What is
even-
the screen hooked up to?
That's actually not even plugged in right now. I think Chris took the thing when he left. But we put together a sensor that would measure large particles, and
Uh-huh.
it wasn't getting anything because it was too clean inside there. So this, if I turn this on, watch what happens. So I had this thing right around
shot of
Dan's
the
soldering
screen.
iron over there while he was working, and
So we're looking at the screen, right?
yeah. So
Okay.
the wand is where the measuring occurs.
So it was like 80,000 out near the iron. It was 50,000 before he powered on. Is this just a fan, basically, like giant fans up here?
Yeah,
or-
this is a gigantic fan and a huge filter. So it's like that, but like 3 times as big as what's in
Okay.
there. And then within 1 minute, it will be at 0, and it just gets stuck at
And
0.
what is this indicating?
Fan.
Okay.
More fan.
Fan spin. Right.
You hear it's going vroom.
Yeah.
So that's why it's going vroom.
Right. Thanks.
The science. So after a minute, you'll be at 0 without. So once you're at 0 and it doesn't count up to 1 anymore, then you're good. Usually turn this on for 5 minutes before you get started.
Okay. And then is it off once you're started? Or do you need to keep it
No,
on
you
the
have
whole
to keep
time?
it on the whole time.
Yeah. Okay.
Put on some headphones and just pretend you're not listening to this. Yeah, after a minute or 2, it'll go from 2 or 0 back, 2 or 1 back to 0, and it stays
What are
there.
all the? So what's the deal with all the different parts in here? I mean, is this just projects that are left, or is it?
Old dead crap.
Okay.
It's souvenirs.
Yeah. Right.
All that stuff is usually junk. So yeah, after a minute, you'll be at 0, and just to keep things safe, you wait 3 or 4 minutes before, because there's
Okay.
always that one little fucking particle that just wants to stay there.
Do you? I was asking this question to your team earlier, but if there's so for like hard drives, if I don't know anything about data recovery, if you're trying to recover data from a hard drive, do you try to leave the platters in the drive to do the recovery, or do you remove them?
Yeah, you remove the platters on the drive. Ideally, you don't remove the platters at all because you don't want to damage the platters. That's the main issue with removing the platters from a drive. The data is stored on the platters, like we all know, and you don't want to mess with that.
Right.
So when the read and write heads fail on the drive, which is mainly what happens most of the time, we just remove those the stack, the read and write head stack, and we grab another one from a donor and we put it on the faulty drive. That way we read the data out from the platters.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. Awesome. Thanks for the explanation. What else is over here? What's this down here?
That's used to remove the platters from the drive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let's use to remove the
Yeah.
platters from the drive.
Yeah.
Got it. Cool. Thank you, TSA.
The particle count doubled. Even a shitty
a
filter
lot.
like this will do something. Watch.
Yes. What's the deal with the giant red button in the middle of the floor?
It's just a filter to keep the place clean. You can't keep this on during the day because people will lose their mind. It's way too loud and annoying.
Is your interest in the amount of particles in the air because it's important for the business for it to be low, or because you
Toy.
want it to be low? Toy.
Do people watch benchmarks and like go crazy over thermal paste because a 1 degree Celsius is actually going to affect anything?
They do not.
No, it's just why not?
Yeah.
Number. A fan sent in Moonshine.
Moonshine.
Yeah, that they made.
Have you had any?
No, I do not drink or eat anything that a fan gives me. But would you like?
Questions about this stuff. So this area is very interesting to me. First question. So this is a board heater, right?
I think this is a cheap piece of shit version of that.
Okay,
And I honestly have
all right.
no idea why he even has this here.
When is it appropriate to use even if that's, I don't know if that's what that is, but
I think this
when
is-
is the right time to use like a board heater, for example? So for example, when I visited you last time, you gave me that fat soldering iron basically to deal with the problem of putting these 8 milliohm shunt resistors on top, like piggyback modding on top of other shunt resistors for a GPU mod. And it seemed like the problem I was having with all of the irons I had was that they couldn't really get hot enough. And I don't know if it's because the board is all, it's like 16-layer PCB, all copper and fiberglass.
A lot of it is thermal mass. So let's say your iron is at a temperature. Let's say your iron is not. You set it to all the way up at like 900 Fahrenheit or 840, and then you touch it to the board. The board is just absorbing all that heat away, so it doesn't even matter. So usually you need a larger iron tip, and you also need. There's two different types of irons. You have the old ones where the tip is separate from the heater, and you have the new one where the tip is the heater. And the thing that's nice about the tip being the heater is that it responds more instantly to change because you don't have the lag between the heater having to heat up the tip, which is nice.
That makes sense.
Even with that, the board itself is going to have to be heated to some extent. So let's say that your iron is like, your iron is like 300 Celsius or something, or 400 Celsius, and then the board is, let's say, 15 Celsius. And it's large. So now, if the board is directly attached to this pad, and you have this giant ground plane, well, you're having this 400 Celsius thing trying to heat something that's 15, that's gigantic. It's not going to heat. Right? It's like trying to heat a heatsink.
Yeah.
You need a lot more to heat the heatsink than the little 24 watts you're getting out of that iron.
Right.
So you would need to have something so you need to preheat the board. So let's say the board itself is heated to 250 Celsius. Instead of the difference being 300 Celsius iron and then 25 Celsius board, you now have 300 Celsius iron, 250 Celsius board.
Right.
I'm not using the right numbers there because I have to get lunch at some point. But
That makes sense.
But yeah, so preheating the board makes sense. So I don't usually use the bottom preheater. The only time I really would use that is if I'm working on removing a large BGA chip.
Yeah,
A
and
small
so that's
BG
what this is for, right?
Yeah, for a
And then I see like the thermocouple's hooked up. I see a camera.
Oh, you want to see the version of Windows this shit runs?
Sure.
Let's go.
Is
Let's
it
see.
3.1?
Take a look at this piece of shit right here.
We have a laser scanner in our office that runs Windows XP, I think.
Look at
Or
look at
7.
that! Look at the cursor.
Oh, wow.
What is this running?
Let me see.
Physical storage space 70 megabytes. Nice. System parameters. It got an exclamation point. No networking. The mouse pointer. I think this is Windows CE. Can you zoom on that? Xprod info.
What does it say?
Xprod info. Xprod. Let's see. Restart. You sure you want to restart the TPC? Look at his finger. That's fucking awesome. I wish my finger looked like that. It's not for repairs, it's usually for data recovery, but with a lot of the new tools, you don't actually need to have that working.
Okay.
So operation. Choose English, operation. So you can choose different profiles. BGA select. So you have all the different profiles. Let's see if I can, let's see if I remember the password to set it up.
Don't film the password.
You're allowed to film the
Just
password.
in case someone breaks in and wants to use the machine.
What?
We'd better not film the password.
Okay, I actually forgot the fucking password. I have not used this since 2015. That's... Yeah, I have no idea. Okay. BGA select. Let's see if it'll let you see the...
2015 is the last time you personally used it?
Okay, so this is how you would set it up. So you have the top temperature, which is this, the bottom temperature, which is the bottom air nozzle, and then bottom IR, or the temperature IR, which is the infrared heaters. And then what you do is you could set the slope, so you set how quickly the temperature is going to be going up, and then you also set how much time it spends on each of that. So that's how you program this here.
Right. Cool.
I'm going to change it back to the profile that Chris had, because if I don't, he's going to not look, because he's going to not assume I touched this and then kill me later. All right, this.
And bad things will happen.
So this is another thing. So what you're looking at in the screen is this is the top and this is the bottom. So this is how you would align a chip. So the top is blue and the bottom is the yellowish orange thing. So you want to align the chip. So if I had a chip that went over there,
So is it basically masking them on top of each other?
Yeah, so you have these little things you can move over here. Let's see if here's my other, I forgot how this thing is put together. Oh, I'm a has-been. Okay, so this moves this way, and then you do this, and you try to get the balls and the chip in the top to line up with the pads on the board, and then you can place it perfectly.
Cool.
You don't need that, it's just useful if, like, it's not necessary, but it's cool to have. And it also looks cool. If I was going to pay a lot of money to buy the machine, I might as well get the one with the alignment on it.
Yeah, no, that's really cool.
It's a cool little toy. And this is so that you could see the balls melt under the chip. So everybody tries to get the profile perfect when they're soldering a BGA chip like that. And the thing is, you don't need to have the perfect profile. I'd rather have a profile that runs longer than it should, but I want to see the balls melt. So I want to be able to see, like saying this is the Intel rework profile, make this perfect profile, it's bullshit. Because if somebody opens the door, the temperature's going to change a little bit. If somebody messes with the air conditioner, if I'm talking and I blow on it, everything's going to change. So I want to be able to see the chip go, and then zip. And then I wait 5 or 6 seconds, and then I know at that point that it's done. So this is so that I could see under the chip. Now this piece of shit camera over here, this little fucking television from 1972 or whatever, it's very low resolution. It looks like shit. The camera that came with it sucks, so we just use an external one that plugs in elsewhere. This monitor is just for the optical camera over here.
Got it. Cool. I saw the Gigabyte board out. The box for it.
Oh, thank you. Yes, the Intel one worked. The AMD one, I killed the CPU.
Yeah, what's the story? So the Intel one's all good now?
Yes, thank you. No more random crashing.
Good. AMD,
I probably sent 3 volts to a 1.7 volt PCI Express lane on my CPU. I'm guessing.
They normally don't like that.
No, they don't.
Okay.
With the other thing, you would need the preheater so that if you had a preheater, you'd be good. But if you don't have a preheater, what you can do is you could take the hot air station and you just preheat it from high up. So instead of going in immediately with 500 Celsius, you would have it up here, then a little lower.
Do you have one of the ones you sell out here?
Yeah, it's this thing.
Oh, it's this one, okay.
My desk is a mess.
Because we spent a lot of time talking about them, we didn't look at
this. Mystery Moonshine over there. I think I unplugged this. Can you see if I unplugged it?
It's plugged in, the top one's unplugged.
This one has to be plugged in.
Should I plug it in?
Yeah, go for it.
The top one is still unplugged.
That's fine.
Bottom one's good, okay.
Okay, so I don't adjust my temperature with this. I usually have it at a higher temperature. If you're working on a single layer board, you wouldn't want a high temperature. But when I'm working on a MacBook board, the way I would do it is I don't change the temperature with the profile as I go. I change the temperature with the distance. So let's say the board is over here. I'm not going to go solder immediately take chip and do this, because the board is going to absorb all of the heat. And then so I'm going to be putting 480 Celsius in the chip forever, trying to heat the board. So the chip is going to die. And in addition to the chip dying, it's not going to get soldered. So what I'll do is I'll have it further away, and I'll have it slowly heat the board so that all those layers under it are 30, 40, 50, 60, 80, 100. And then once the board is preheated to like 150, then I can replace the chip very quickly. So instead of the chip getting 480 Celsius for like 45 seconds, it's only getting it for a few seconds.
Do you have something are you using like a thermocouple or something to measure the surface temperature of the board, or are you just, when you're talking about heating the board to like 100 degrees, you just kind of
you practice on a donor, and then you figure out what that particular board's profile is.
Got it.
So I mean, like if I know I'm going to work on one of those same boards for like 18,000 times, it makes sense for me to experiment many times. I don't have a thermocouple I'm putting on the board for each individual chip replacement.
Fair enough.
You too, Chris? God damn. Motherfucker. I guess he ships everybody their items properly, so who am I to judge? As long as everybody gets their stuff.
Yeah.
This is a mess. Oh God, this is a giant mess. Let's see. Wow, we really haven't bought one of those in a while. This is all shit. So these are all going to be donors where everything that's even remotely useful was stolen.
I see.
Oh, okay.
Not by you.
Oh, I hate back pain.
I can get it if you
Being
want.
old sucks. Okay. Where are the ones? So where are the broken? I'm trying to find the ones where you get a small piece of the board.
The cut ones you were talking about?
Yes. Small piece of the board. This is stuff I'm supposed to clean that I procrastinate.
Got it.
This is mostly junk. When I moved here from New York, there was so much stuff left over that I didn't want to throw away because I'm a hoarder.
Sure.
So like this is all just hoarding. They have everything they need in their desks over there. This is the hoarder room.
Do you guys use this stuff regularly for repairs, or is it just like?
Not as I mean that's for a machine that was discontinued like over 10 years ago.
Okay.
So I'm certain 99% of what's here is probably not used at all, and it's just stock that I never finished. That is flux that expired 2 years ago. You're welcome to take some.
What happens when it expires? Does it still work?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. The only reason I picked it up is because in our 2-hour training session we did at the old store, the thing you really instilled in me was you can never have enough flux.
Never. You could always clean it off.
All right.
Yeah, it's kind of like the difference. It's not like milk that you leave out. It's kind of like coconut water that's in a fridge. You know,
Okay.
There's the expiration date, but it's probably fine.
Right.
That expired a very, very long time ago, though. Let's see. What is the date on this?
Yeah, we have.
Expiration February 27th, 2024.
Nice.
I would still use that.
That's not that old. Yeah.
That's fine. As long as it hasn't been opened and are exposed to a bunch of heat.
Thermal paste, same thing. Thermal paste also expires. Very cool. I like the space.
Thank you.
Big upgrade in terms of area.
Yes. And then you have...
Yeah. What was the story behind the logo originally?
Everybody thinks that it was like the Apple insult of a sheep, but it was because one of the companies that we worked at would routinely rip people off. So it's like this is a humble little sheep. It will not rip you off. He's humble. He has he doesn't change the pricing of the Aten just because he can. Like,
Right.
It's an ethos thing. So it's like it's a happy little creature. Actually, there was this one person that I used to hang out with on IRC when I was 13, and there was a forum he posted on, and at one point he posted this random weird little sheep. There was this thread that made absolutely no sense, and he came into it and just posted this adorable little sheep thing. And so I took that photo, and that photo was my original logo back in 2008. It was like a sheep that I stole from Google image search.
Right.
But that was the idea. Here, try it. Speaking.
Can we you need to get a good zoom on it, Vitalii. You really got to.
Oh,
That was kind of sad.
You have to do it better.
There you
You
go.
have to do something like this. Let's say. Wait, no.
We're just.
Okay, I can't do it anymore.
We're gonna have a new ASMR channel. It's just gonna be Lewis squeaking the sheep for 35 hours. Like the space. Check out the channel. We'll link Rossmann Repair below.
Don't watch that, it'll rot your brain. Don't watch YouTube, it'll rot your brain.
I agree. See you all next time.